Welcome again. In this lecture, we will talk about how the option field name at the start of the file works. So if you still remember, if you go to this option specify files here, you know that when we created this entry, we select the option field names at the start of the file. So this is the file we're gonna be processing in this lecture, and you can see that we have 10 rows in this file. And the first row we have is the field name or a column name. So when we go back out of that and we start reading the file, as you have seen that the same thing in our previous lectures too, because we've been processing only 9 records in each lecture. So you can see that the number of records written are 9, but the rows in the file are 10. Because of that option, the system is ignoring the first row, and here you can see that it's just reading the it's ignoring the first row and taking all the other rows into consideration and processing them. So how that option, if we don't select that option and have a column name in our file, how this option going to work, this is what we are going to see in this lecture. So here I'm just showing you how the data looks like now, and then later on I will show you how the data looks later once we take off that option. So I will go to that specify files option. Select change mode and then click on the row right here, and then click on change here, and then I will take off that option. And I once you take off that option, you have to select this option at least. We are telling the system the whatever the field order is in the file, it matches our source structure definition. Like whatever we have defined in our source structure, it matches to that. And then I click continue. Now you can see that this option is removed. And if I go back from here and start reading the data now, here you will see the difference. So now you can see that it started reading 10 instead of 9 because it's considering each row as a record. So let's go over all these 4 steps one by one. And here you can see that in the first record, it's taking BA000BNKA. Why it's taking that, we will look into that right after we convert the data. So again, 10 records converted. And when we look into the display converted data, here you can see that we had the first column name was banks. So it's just taking BA. Why it is that? I will show you in a bit, but when we define the source fields definition, we put the restriction of 2 characters. Like we cannot have value more than 2 characters. That's why it's taking the first 2 characters of of that row, which is right here. Then you might have a question why we have 0000 on the bank. Why we don't have bank L instead of this 0000? The reason is that because we defined this field as a numeric field and it is not going to accept alphabets. The third field, because it does accept alphabets and it's the limit for that, the length of that field is 60. So that's why it just took the whole value, whatever we have in the file. So that's how this option basically works. I just wanted to give you an overview on the source fields too. So here you can see that. So the limit for the first column is 2, and then we have a numeric. Bank key is always going to be numeric. That's what we mention here, and that's why it just put 9 zeros there instead of this bank L data, whatever we have in the file. So it was all about this field name at the start of the file option. I will stop here and I will see you in our next lecture.